What's going on, everyone? This is City Wrestling Radio, and this is the B Show, the #1 rated AEW Dynamite and NXT weekly review here on YouTube.com.
And #1 rated wrestling podcast with LED lights in our background, with a lamp facing right in front of us.
And
not to go behind the curtain, but
yeah,
look at this look. We got to look. That's how you stick out in this industry. You need to harbor an identity. You know, that's what Paul Heyman said. That's what Gabe Sapolsky said. This is what Michael Vergara says. Yeah. I'm just like those individuals.
Well, I went to Chili's tonight, and my lights suddenly turned light purple. So what's
a Chili's?
Anyways, it's a restaurant, the Dark Order official spokespeople.
Nonetheless, yeah, that's true.
I'm your host, Corey Smith, and you are Michael Vergara.
I am.
And like I said, we're here to talk about AEW Dynamite and NXT from this week, and a little bit of wrestling news.
It happened. NXT and AEW happened. So did the news.
Say about it. So, but before I get into all that, like, share, and subscribe. Tap anything you want to down below. I mean, on the screen that you see.
No, don't tap anything.
I'm not pointing below like down where. I'm pointing below like hit the subscribe button. Hey, you know what? DX. Anyways, click subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let us know what you think. I want to know what you think about this week's episodes of AEW Dynamite and NXT. Some good, some painfully dreadful things.
Tell us how horrible we are, honestly.
Yeah.
Just cancel us right now.
At CWR415. Let's just jump right into it, Michael. I'm ready. I got my Orange Cassidy. I got my haircut just like Orange Cassidy just for today.
You put on your Orange Cassidy face.
You know what? I was gonna put on the denim and the aviators today, but I just
it's too hot. It's too damn hot. Yeah, not really.
I just went with the Balor shirt.
Same thing.
Because I'm a mark. Nonetheless, let's talk about some Ring of Honor, shall we? A little bit.
Yeah, it's about time someone did.
No one's mentioned this. I mean, it's crazy. No. Ring of Honor is making their return. It was announced the other day that they're returning to producing episodes of their Ring of Honor weekly TV show at the company's home state of Maryland this month. There will be no fans in attendance, just like every other American wrestling show right now. They did issue a statement saying Ring of Honor will adhere to a very stringent protocol as well as the regulations set in place by the Maryland State Athletic Commission. What were you going to say?
Mask.
Yes.
Mascot. Yeah, you said that no. Were you being sarcastic when you said no other wrestling promotion has no fans?
That's true. You're right. I went with what I was used to. You know, I've been saying that for so long. That it's just I wasn't used to saying it tonight. And
I was gonna say we got our fair share of fans in our wrestling of our wrestling viewing this week. Maybe just one show, but I guess. But yeah, ROH. What about it?
It really.
That's all they really announced. That
WWE technically has fans. Well, no, yeah, I mean they're going to be returning with their Ring of Honor Pure Title tournament. It was originally supposed to be scheduled for April. They're going to place that on their weekly TV show. So, Ring of Honor going to be back. Some more wrestling.
Like all I ever heard from like in regards to Ring of Honor coming back was just this one Jonathan Gresham tweet where it's just like he put on this octopus mask and he just said, "Pure wrestlers, hey, what's up?" And then I was like, "Wait, what?" I remember Jonathan Gresham. It's supposed to mean ROH, but I thought ROH was discontinued or taking a break, but now they're back. So, you know, they gotta do something, man.
Well, you know, the one thing I always notice about Jonathan Gresham in real life is that he's a lot shorter in real life.
I'm sure that's not the first time he's heard that before.
I'm not ribbing him. I'm just saying.
It's one of those. It's just one of those passive. This is one of those passive, what do you call it, compliments. Like, I know you're short. I know you're really short, but you're not that short. Yes, that's what you call them.
Yeah. I tend to give those out, unfortunately, a lot, and not knowing that I did.
Yeah. I'm also hearing a little bit of clipping on your end. I don't know whether or not it's my connection or you heard that too.
No, I'm not hearing any clipping on my end.
Or just little like sparks. Must be my connection. I don't know. And I got fancy internet too this week, so we'll see how it goes.
You know, nonetheless, Ring of Honor making their return. Somebody else who might be making their return to the world of professional wrestling, well, to the main stage of WWE? Maybe. I don't know. They're probably not. But
it's a third brand. If I know what you're talking about.
What, Raw Underground?
Oh, keep going.
Ken Shamrock.
What? They got him?
Ken Shamrock. Coming back? Well, I mean, he wants to come back. I mean,
God, what? What kind of news is this then? I thought. Okay, all right.
Well, you know,
what's the news? What's the news?
That he is very interested in returning to Raw Underground.
A wrestler is interested in a promotion that they used to work for. Okay, all right.
He has not. You know what? He has not worked for the WWE in 19 years. So it hard to be said what is to be done.
God, more than 19 years at this point. Like, wasn't he let go of the company in 99 or 2000? Whatever.
Oh, you're right. He last wrestled in 99, so 21 years.
Drink now.
I guess I'm finishing up Ken Shamrock's WWE career with Jose on the Retro WWE Sunday Night Heat show every Sunday on YouTube.com.
Apparently, Ken Shamrock has a book out, and
it's written about him. It's not. He didn't write it.
Well, yeah, but then he had it was a collaborative effort with a dude named Jonathan Snowden, and what I hear is that they make even though it has the full blessing of Ken Shamrock, I hear that it's it paints a really terrible picture of him. It's just self-deprecating, and then he just lets it all out.
Well, I guess there were some things that he didn't want in the book, and I guess his relationship with his kids, things like that. But then there was things he didn't really give a shit about.
One of my most vivid Ken Shamrock memories, I think, one is Ryan Shamrock, and two
we can't forget Ryan Shamrock.
Let's never forget Ryan Shamrock. And two is one of my most vivid memories is watching wrestling when I was at my youngest was Ken Shamrock on one knee giving a chair to somebody and just straight up just letting somebody hit him straight on the head.
Yeah.
And I'm trying. If you remember this clip, I try to find this clip somewhere. Sometimes I just Google Ken Shamrock chair shot, and I just come up short. But
just every now and again, you're just you know what?
I just remember I think I saw a GIF image of that one time, and I was I didn't save it, and I was just it's just stuck in my mind. Just how that chair is stuck in Ken Shamrock's head.
I feel like McDonald's really missed out in the 90s with the Shamrock Shake, not having him as a spokesperson. Him standing there with a Shamrock Shake, just drink a milkshake now.
You're right, Corey. They really did miss that boat.
That would $1 million, and then the NSYNC commercials would have happened afterwards. It would have all tied in together.
Yep.
Nonetheless, he tweeted out after Monday Night Raw saying, "Hey WWE and Shane Wing, next time you guys want to do a work shoot fight, #Raw Underground."
Did you watch this week?
Good. That actually looked good. You got my number. Give me a call. The shoot fights, no, I gave up on Raw an hour and 2/3 through.
Yeah, don't you know that Raw Underground is always at 10 o'clock, Corey?
I was too tired.
That's how they establish. That's how they make the third hour rise up in the ratings, even though it only sustained what it had last week, which is not great.
Kids don't kids like Raw Underground? I hear.
Sure, why not?
I mean, that's just what I hear. I heard they're decent, somewhat decent with the younger kids. It's hip, it's cool, fresh.
So from what I hear about Raw Underground, it's that, and I'm not saying I'm above it. I saw a little bit of it. Is that it is a 70-year-old man, a 40 and a 70-year-old man's idea of what they think MMA is, which is they bring every time somebody ever tries to be on the ground, they just want somebody why aren't you hitting him? Why aren't you standing him up? Why aren't you just, without really understanding the fundamentals of MMA, of mixed martial arts and how it has evolved since 2007 when that's when everybody expected MMA to be like Raw Underground.
It's MMA from '89. You know what I mean?
I mean, the first UFC event was in 1993. So if you're
what I'm saying is that this is just I feel what people thought back alley jiu-jitsu fights were way back when
or I said, it is a 70-year-old man's idea of what they think MMA is. Just completely out of touch of what why this thing is so revered, and they just think of it as a blood and guts product, as they say.
It's blood and guts. I mean, it's not.
Ken Shamrock, he wants to be an underground. Fucking yeah, why not?
Yeah,
why not, dude?
I like it.
I mean, he's an old. He's like a fucking. he's somebody from the Attitude Era. I'm sure they'll love using someone from the Attitude Era at this point.
I feel like people like Ken Shamrock a lot too. Like, I mean, I don't.
He's remembered fondly. Like I don't have negative memories of Ken Shamrock.
He is.
The memories of Ken Shamrock I have is him getting hit in the chair, and that's not an unpleasant memory. Well, it is kind of an unpleasant memory if you really think about it.
He's, as The Rock would say, a Bay Area boy, right? Is
Ken Shamrock?
Yeah, he's from San Jose.
I don't know. I can't. I'm
pretty sure he's from San Jose. I mean, that's the one thing I've always remembered about him is him being booked from San Jose, California, Ken Shamrock. So, I mean, I could be completely wrong about that.
From Macon, Georgia, dude.
Really?
I mean, you can be built. I mean, again, like,
wow.
They could say fighting out of San Jose, California, but
no, WWE, they're not going to say that back at that time.
But then he's fighting out of Reno, Nevada, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Well, like Daniel Cormier, he's from Louisiana, but he fights out of San Jose, California.
Yeah.
Who has a heavyweight title fight this
Frank
week.
Shamrock is from Santa Monica.
Okay.
And Frank Shamrock lives in San Jose. Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yep.
There we go. Anyways, nonetheless.
Good friend of Mauro Ranallo. So it all just comes together.
Brothers, right? Frank
Shamrock and Mauro Ranallo? No.
No, Ken Shamrock and Frank.
I know.
Yeah. That's a dumb, stupid question. Anyways, let's continue with some more news, Michael. You got some NWA stuff.
I gave that to you just so I didn't have to read it. Let me try to find it then.
NWA recently made a great worldly announcement that took the world. Okay,
there was a press release, I think around 10 days ago. No, not 10 days ago. The 10th of August. So that would be 2 days ago. Coming out of Hollywood, California, and it's called the United Wrestling Network. United Wrestling Network's Prime Time Live, which is a partnership between NWA, Thunder Studios, and United Wrestling Network. I'm just going to pull up the press release here. Why is the scrolling so bad? Okay. So this is from William Patrick Corrigan, a.k.a. Billy Corrigan. I'm pleased that we are finally able to announce some good news. And in partnering with United Wrestling Network, we'll be able to get back to work with our promises to be top-tier matchups and soon. It goes without saying that 2020 has been a challenging year for everyone, and our goal in reestablishing in-ring NWA action was to make sure that our talent would be protected working within now established safety protocols, yada, yada, yada. High-quality content like our vaunted shows, NWA Power, and 10 pounds of gold, but this will be more than just a weekly live pay-per-view broadcast. So yes, there's going to be a weekly live pay-per-view broadcast. They didn't release the pricing or anything, but they're pretty much just doing shows. Like the NWA roster, and I read somewhere that they're going to use the LA Dojo New Japan guys as well. So like Shibata's buddies.
So here's a couple of things I can pull up from this. The United Wrestling Network is actually founded by David Marquez. So it's a cooperative group of professional wrestling promotions from the United States and abroad. So it seems like it's one giant entity that looks over a bunch of smaller indie promotions. One thing I did hear about this is I thought I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is that NWA will be touring, but to these independent promotions, and this is where their shows will be put on from.
So it's more like a platform.
Yeah, I think, like our region would be having West Coast Pro Wrestling would be having the NWA shows, because I believe they're a part of the United Wrestling Network. Don't quote me on that.
So do you think this was a plan even before COVID? Or you think this was just put together because of COVID?
I think it was put together after COVID. I mean, because of COVID. I mean, to me, it just seems like NWA Power was trying to get on TV. You know what I mean? They were really trying to push it to be that TV, like studio. We want to be studio wrestling when studio wrestling was studio wrestling and studio wrestling. And
the whole main creative force in David Lagana, he's no longer with the company due to recent allegation, like that whole speaking out movement. So God knows the possible creative direction for this company. So, I mean, at least this is a direction for NWA.
Yeah. I'm just looking over something from the United Wrestling Network.
So premiering Tuesday, September 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern, and will originate live from Thunder's Long Beach studio. Studios. This unprecedented new series will be a grand showcase of acclaimed talent and competitors from all regions and different promotions across the globe in their quest to settle real-life feuds. You know, you're really pushing it when you say real life.
So they're taking people from different promotions and promoting them from there. So it looks like you'll get somebody from, it says like, you could see someone from Chicago's Freelance Wrestling or even fighters from New Japan Pro Wrestling's LA Dojo versus West Coast Pro Wrestling. So it's kind of like an inter-brand promotional. I mean, it sounds kind of cool. Like,
yeah, no, it's a noble idea.
You have team mentalities at that point too. You know, like I represent West Coast Pro. And I represent, it's a freelance
factions. It's a tried and true way to get a roster over in wrestling.
Yeah, and it really gets a lot of these independent guys more of a platform. I mean, their platform's getting bigger and bigger. I wonder.
Whatever work, man. Honestly,
I wonder
in these trying times.
I wonder if the platform will ever get overflooded with wrestling.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Speaking of which. The AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament. Did you watch it?
I watched a little bit of it. I kind of missed the boat on this week, but I heard Dasha was okay.
Right. Oh yeah, Dasha. Was it Dasha and Rachel Ellering versus
Diamante and Ivelisse?
And Diamante. Who? A question. Did a couple weeks ago when they were facing off. They were mentioning, these two have fought each other. They fought together. They didn't
choose to be partners, Corey.
No. They said they were a tag team before. Now to this tournament, the whole thing was, these two have never tagged before. They've fought all around the world, but they've never tagged before.
I didn't catch that. So I mean,
well, you should.
Yeah, I guess that's quite a. Yeah, that's quite an oversight.
It's something. And then who
said it, Veda or Tony? I can understand Shivani making that mistake.
I don't know. I think
it's taped. Yeah. So why would they include it? I mean, they had the power to edit it out. It's not maybe they just. I mean, who the hell would ever record something and just put it out there without ever, replaying it and just edit all the mistakes that you possibly could have? Who the fuck would do that?
I was thinking about how to do a Jim Cornette impersonation right there, but I just decided not to. Also, we saw on that.
Good call.
We saw on that AEW Dark Show the debut of Big Swole's Lil partner, and I say Lil because it was corrected. Lil Swole is now. She debuted. Nicole Savoy.
I hear she was a really big standout. I didn't get to watch it because I only caught up to the part where Dasha.
If you watch it on YouTube live, everybody on the chat was just like, sign Little Swole, sign Little Swole, sign Little Swole, sign Little Swole. Everybody.
Uh-huh. Yep. And hey, bear in mind, this week's Dynamite was live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. We'll get there, but.
But let's see. So a little bit about Nicole Savoy. She does wrestle.
She likes Halo. She likes One Punch Man.
She's a gamer. She's always been pretty cool. Always been pretty nice to me. Out of Sacramento, California, I believe.
Have you ever had a wrestler be mean to you, Corey? Don't bury anybody. Just say yes or no.
Not mean, but like came off kind of weird. I was just like, all right, that was kind of fucking rude, but whatever.
All right. Okay.
But yes, they have.
Okay.
And it was funny. They weren't even WWE guys were nicer than this guy. So let's see. Nicole Savoy, trained by Michael Modest, Rich Myers, Earl the Pearl,
APW's own Mike Modest,
and Oliver John. She debuted in 2011. I know she wrestles a lot out of Pro Wrestling Revolution in San Jose, California. Well, they do it around the Bay, but yeah.
Cool.
So check it out. The show if you haven't watched it. Check out Lil Swole and Big Swole beating was it the team of the Librarian and someone I don't remember. I forgot that one. But anyways, what
do you think of this tag team tournament so far? I mean, there's not much to work with, like in terms of like generating an opinion, but I feel like
what I like about it a lot is that they're giving people paychecks.
I mean, sure.
I mean, yeah. Like, look at.
I'm glad there's catering. I'm glad someone's working.
Yeah, catering's working. These wrestlers who probably might not. They're not wrestling a whole lot of dates now because of travel issues and all that. It's good for them to get a chance to go work and be able to Yeah.
I mean, just
what do you think of this tournament?
This tournament, I mean, if we're just strictly talking about performers, I think there's a lot of potential with Anna Jay and Tainara Conchi. They did announce that the finals are going to be on the 22nd of the 22nd show on Dynamite. Yeah. So at least that's getting a bit of a shine on television.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Dasha, considering that was her very first match ever, there was she sold pretty well. She has something in the ring. She's definitely not nothing. There's something to mold to. You know what I mean?
She wasn't that believable. Like, you could tell, she inside of her, she had a huge smile the entire time, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm doing this! Yes, this is awesome."
It's like wrestling fantasy camp. It's like she's given the Ronda Rousey treatment, except
Cool, they should have that.
Except she was not champion. But it makes you really think that it really makes you think how depleted do they think they have as far as women's wrestlers is concerned when they have to use Dasha? You think they wanted to use Dasha because she was on Titan Games? Do you think they needed, or you think they just kind of had no choice and oh shit, Dasha, you in?
Well, I don't think it was just Dasha you in, because she's been training for quite a while now. She's been training for over 2 years? So
sure,
for her to be training that long, and I know she wasn't building to this, but I'm sure they were like, she's been training a lot. We have all these spots open. I'm sure someone just clicked. It's like, hey, Dasha, do you want to job out? I mean, you're an announcer. You should lose anyways. You should.
My back, but I'm still happy.
Yeah, exactly. But
good on you, Dasha.
So the finals of the finals, the semifinals.
Yeah, they're semifinals.
Eva Lise and Diamante versus Ty Conti and Anna Jay, and Brandy and what's her name? Allie versus Big Swole.
The Swoles.
One thing, I don't know if anyone caught this.
Swole sisters.
The Big Swole came out with the Devon Dudley glasses.
All right.
So I loved how it was kind of like this Dudley Boy gimmick where they were like, I'm Big Swole, it's Low Swole, we're sisters. But it was kind of like it was cool. And you could tell they were having so much fun in there.
Did they do a 3D?
Did they? I don't think so.
Was there a Testify?
What up? All right.
Oh God, I hope they didn't do that move. I mean, whatever. If they can do it, they can do it.
Anyways, and one last piece of news I think we should talk about just real quick, because we didn't get to talk about it earlier in the week. Kamala passed away earlier this week. James Harris, who, like you said, best known for his role in WWE and Memphis as Kamala, passed away at the age of 70, apparently due to complications with COVID-19.
That's just it's a terrible way to go. Honestly, it didn't have to go this way.
Yeah, it's a bummer. He was
diabetic,
and he actually had
an amputee.
Both his legs amputated. Yes, he was a double amputee.
Jesus.
And it's unfortunate, that it happened. I was in shock. Kamala is, I think, one of the people that, when I think of wrestling as a child, Kamala is right there next to Hulk Hogan. And I hate to. I don't like to praise Hulk Hogan, but he's just somebody that I remember from when I was a kid. So
I guess this is a generational thing, Corey.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. I mean, Kamala was right there, and it's funny because Kamala was a heel at first, but I always remember I was always face run Kamala. I was always with Kamala being the awesome, he was the Ugandan giant, and he would come in and do his dance. But he was a face, and I loved it.
Yeah, and our condolences.
Do you the Kamala's before your time, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have much memories concerning him. All I can remember was, to me, he was just kind of one of those wrestlers where the gimmick is just problematic as fuck when you think about it. He doesn't speak.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the foreign savage, the racial savage.
Yeah.
It really tackles on a bunch of stuff that just doesn't age well. But hey, it drew money, and that's just that's what moved the needle back then.
And not
to justify it for that being a reason of why they did it. But to deny the very existence is no better than that's what that Warner Brothers. I'm just basically just reading off that Warner Brothers warning whenever they show racist cartoons.
Yeah,
I forgot.
No, Kamala. The gimmick.
He's definitely a part of history.
You're definitely right about that. No, I will say this: the savage, from another country, from Uganda, in time of the 80s. They definitely did play off the racial stereotypes, but James Harris definitely did play the role. He played this role of the heel, and then he played a face, and he did a good job at it. He was good. He wasn't the best wrestler, but did a good job at everything he was given, and I'm gonna miss the guy.
Condolences. Yeah. And again, also COVID. Take it fucking seriously.
Wear a damn mask. I don't give a fuck if you. Sorry, I'm gonna lay into something for a second. It's something I saw I saw on our Instagram today. I don't care if you're left wing nut job, if you're a right wing nut job. Wear a fucking mask. It's like
you're politicizing wearing a seatbelt at this point.
That's all. No, that's all. I don't want to get too into it. I'm just saying. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. Not like I'm calling anyone out, but anyways, Batista, he called a bunch of people out. Anyways,
let's go to @CWR415 Instagram.
There you go. So let's get into it. Let's get right into it. AEW Dynamite, Michael.
Dynamite, dated August 12th, 2020. I'm only going to say this because of this week. Our movie of the week was Mad Max Fury Road. Great fucking movie. What do you think? Have you seen that movie, Corey?
Do you know what the lead-in for NXT is?
It's
NCIS.
That's always the lead-in. It's never a movie.
No, hold on. No wonder the fucking 50-plus demo is perfect. That's Young Bucks. If you're listening to me, you want that 50-plus demo, you got to have NCIS lead you guys in.
It's a good point. I mean, it's most likely a USA thing. I mean, I'm sure WWE is trying to, is begging for USA to have like a meaningful lead in.
You're like, can you at least put Psych on before us, or what's the other
Monk or Suits?
No, what was the one where they were like?
They're all the same to me, Corey.
Like a spy.
The USA shows.
The guy who was a spy. He's like
Burn Notice. I think that's what that was. But yeah, Mad Max Fury Road. Have you seen that movie?
No. Yeah, I don't like it.
What? Okay. We could go 20 minutes, but I think it's one of the greatest action movies of all time. But I digress.
A lot of nonsense.
Hell of an ending.
People are inhaling.
It's tagged. Shut up, Corey. You're not going to have a platform to spread your Mad Max Fury Road hating on this podcast.
Who spray paint?
It's Tag Team Appreciation Night, and oh boy, first thing we see, fucking fans. And I know they've been doing this for weeks, but I feel like this is the first time like they've showed this off.
Now, Michael, these are good fans. They're all doing it. They're explaining the rules.
JR assures us that they're playing by the rules, and I was immediately taken. At least for the first 15 minutes of the show, I was a little bit just separated from this show.
You know what's going to be funny is all the wrestlers getting used to it again.
What do you mean?
Like, I think a lot of guys are starting to get used to having no fans, and I think
they try to work that to their advantage. But now
they're starting to get fans back. I think, and we'll get into it later when it happens. So.
Yeah, no, but it was literally all I can think about. It was just you fucking. Taz cut a shoot promo, quote unquote shoot promo on how John Mox, how they're not a sloppy shop, and then I don't know, it just sort of just came off super arrogant. What do you think? Showing we're in fucking Florida of all places as well, and I was just dude, what is going on?
This is a big discussion. It's so different. Who you ask, where you ask, and I know there's government guidelines, and that's what I follow. And I try to stay 6 feet away from everybody at all times. I try to wear a mask when I'm closer to somebody than that when I'm in public. That being said,
We have the pleasure of being in California. Oh, well, we don't have. We have
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People in Florida can do that too. People in Florida can be smart.
But that's kind of the problem. Florida is a fucking hotbed for the COVID, and it's just like to show that, and they're trying to have it both ways of being like responsible, but then also showing irresponsibility of just letting people in. And I know they don't just let anybody in. Like you have to be well connected within AEW to get in. But then the thing is. Somebody said like they only do temperature checks. They only and the tests aren't mandatory.
That was a couple months ago. And
no, somebody like a member of the audience just tweeted out that
that recently? Because I remember this
very show, dude.
Okay, because I thought I remember something specifically happened a few months ago where it was the same show that Will Hobbs debuted on, but I remember somebody tweeted that out. No, it's just it's hard, man, because like it's one of those things like with a small crowd like that, you really can control them more. You can control, hey guys, like this group A, you guys are going to use the bathrooms all the way over here. Group B is going to use the bathrooms all the way. You really can keep control over the situation as opposed to a giant crowd.
Okay, I was trying to cite the tweet where it showed where this individual was saying that tests were not mandatory. But lo and behold, just conveniently, that tweet got deleted. So I can't even cite that tweet that I just attributed. So that goes to show. It was from Jesse Davin, I think. So it says party. Okay, I think I got a screenshot here. Parties were grouped together and socially distanced between each group. They had it planned out beforehand. Do not let the camera fool you. I felt very safe, and so did my husband. I just don't know, man. Now, I know they've been doing this for a while, but I just think they showed it. And now I'm just like perception is reality, in my opinion. And that like people like they don't. Cody, like I think Cody said in his interview that doesn't exist anymore, but I kind of disagree on that regard. But yeah, I don't know. But I digress. The Young Bucks versus the Dark Order, represented by Evil Uno and Stu Grayson.
Is JR a Batman fan?
I'm sure he is.
Because every time he brings up, Stu, don't call him Dick Grayson.
Yeah, I think that was just like a play on his name.
Every single. It's a Batman reference.
Yeah, it's not the only Batman reference we got in this show.
Okay.
Yeah, Dark Order just immediately Pearl Harbors Bucks before they do the entrance. Like honestly, a pretty efficient way to save time. Seriously, these guys get their work boots on. It's just one of those things I just can't follow it with notes. They build heat on Matt, focusing on the back, the same injured back that he's had for like nearly a decade now.
I think that's a worked injury, though. That's got to be.
I mean, it's. What more can you say? Silver and Reynolds appear out of nowhere and surround Matt, who escapes by crawling under the ring. Matt does a poison Rana, then a hot tag to Nick Jackson, then does his hot tag shit where he just fucking just goes hog wild on everybody. And then to a point where he just goes up to the camera and says, "Best comeback in the business." I mean, he's not wrong. Assisted Swanton to draping Uno from Nick for a 2 count. Cannonball Senton combo from Uno and Grayson for a 2 count. So Grayson summons Reynolds, Silver, and Alan Angels to Matt to the ramp. So to prevent Matt from going into the ring, they just carry him all the way to the entryway. And so Grayson uses the numbers advantage, but then Nick does a sunset roll up on Grayson for the pin and win. This was a good match. It was a bit on the short side. I kind of expected
a sunset flip on.
He does a sunset. So Nick does a sunset roll up on Grayson for the pin and win.
Okay.
It was just an out of nowhere flash finish, and I'll say this. There was plenty of finishes throughout this match where I thought were a bit, let's say, less definitive. Yeah. I'll say, and I'll argue the one definitive finish in this match shouldn't have been definitive, and I think this is one of the matches where it should have been definitive.
Yeah.
If you we'll get there, but yeah.
Evil Uno is slowly becoming one of my more favorite wrestlers.
He's super underrated. He's incredibly underrated.
His character work is so good. Like I love how he just acts with everyone in the ring. I love the way everything he does. Like he's probably not the best technical wrestler out there. He's not like a Kurt Angle.
He's up there. I'm not going to completely discount his ability in the ring.
He's very well trained. I will say that. Well, I said Kurt Angle. Not everyone can be a Kurt Angle. Come on. Not all of us can be a Kurt Angle, am I right? Anyways, he looks good. Stu great. Dark Order's good, man.
Yeah, they've really rehabilitated him. But then, can you say that without watching Being the Elite?
Probably. With when I think about Evil Uno and I think of Stu Grayson, I think of them on Dynamite. When I think of
Silver and Reynolds,
Long John Silver and Alex Reynolds, then
they're more associated with Being the Elite.
Exactly.
But they did their work on Dark Order, and I'm of the opinion that they fully legitimized those. Legitimize those guys as, part of that roster.
One thing I did want to point out,
instead of just being goons as fodder for the Elite, like they really show it, man. They really they stepped up in the ring.
One thing you reminded me of right there is that I wanted to bring up. Last week the AEW rating was like 900,000. Everyone this week is like, oh my god, it might break 1 million.
I mean, I thought so. Like with what they set up, it might break 1 million, and them starting, yeah.
That being said, I feel like they are trying to explain things to maybe lapsed fans or people just turning on for the first time.
I feel like they do that every week, though.
No, it was more so this week because they were like, the Dark Order's here now. There's more of them, and they got some more guys, and they used to be bad, but now they're pretty good. And, they got more people.
I mean, they are bad, but then they're good in ring. I mean, they're
That's
bad.
not what they're saying.
I'm just,
But it was just, to me, it seemed like, okay, cool. Like, it's a lot of over-explaining.
Listen, dude, if they're doing that this week, get a load of the 22nd. If their fucking lead-in is an NBA playoff game, all right? So, that, as far as, I'm not concerned about losing any possible view. I mean, yeah, there's reason to be concerned about not airing on Wednesday, but I'm pretty confident on that number being pretty good on Saturday, considering they're following up with an NBA play-in game.
Yeah.
That's going to have a lot of eyeballs, especially when, everybody's just all eyes on the NBA. I think that should be a really big show.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Good match. It ended a bit abruptly, but I feel like that's not the last time I'm going to say that throughout the show. Yeah. MJF walks in, shoves Lee Edwards aside, telling him to stay out of his shot, and didn't realize until the internet told me that this was actually a reference to Samoa Joe shoving MJF out of his shot.
Yep. I was kind of hoping you didn't bring it up, but I wanted to bring it up. I'm stealing
your heat, brother.
Oh my God. Because I just saw this the other day for the first time.
The Samoa Joe thing?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And then it happened this week who was the guy playing the escort?
Lee Edwards.
He walks in front of me and goes, get out of my shot. But even though Samoa Joe didn't say it in the clip, you could tell Samoa Joe was legit pissed at the time. Like, get the fuck out of my shot.
And I feel like MJF just wanted to do that because now he feels like he is in that position now.
Yeah.
Which is great, which is a very earnest character, like an earnest story beat for his character development, which I thought was great.
AEW is slowly turning into the popular kid who just kind of takes shots at everyone all the time,
And I didn't know that had I not known that Samoa Joe reference, if the internet just didn't tell me about that, I would have just assumed that they're building to Lee Edwards versus MJF, and they still can. There's still plenty of time.
He gets scrimmed out of something. He gets scrimmed out of the match.
Yeah. Anyway, we get interviews asking who's the best tag team. This happens throughout the show, but then they ask Kenny Omega and Adam Page, and Kenny says the Young Bucks, which weirds out Adam Page. Like, he just gives them a look, and then they just and Kenny just legitimately says that the Young Bucks are the best tag team in the world. And
so, this is Tag Team Appreciation Night, Michael. Who is your favorite tag team of all time?
All time,
man. I'm putting you on the spot there.
I'm not much of a tag team dude. I'm kind of like Vince McMahon in this regard, but fuck, man, you're really putting me on the spot here. But I have a soft spot for who was that team? Yeah, I really can't think of anything right now. I'm not much of a tag team guy.
Mounties.
I mean, I could say the Dudley Boys, but that seems like a cop out. I could say Edge and Christian. I could say I could say the American males. I could say Harlem Heat.
If everyone says the American males, honestly,
I could say 3 count. That's the thing. I know tag teams, but then I just don't have particular, fondness of it in general. I'm like Vince McMahon in that sort of way. I'm more of a classic 1v1 person.
I grew up during the Attitude Era, and the 2 teams that stick out in my head the most are the Hardys and the Outsiders.
Yeah, see, I'm trying. Like, speaking of Outsiders, I'm trying to deviate. Like, I can't give you like a hipster internet darling answer. Like, the Eliminators is pretty cool. ECW.
Mr. Wrestling 2 and Mr. Wrestling 3 tagged for a little while, and
like the Von Erichs, they're considered a tag team.
The Hart Foundation.
But you said, who was your first? I mean, I would say the Young Bucks are my favorite tag team.
I said Hardys or Outsiders.
I didn't really give a shit about tag team wrestling until the Young Bucks. And once the history books is really just written like this, you have to pinpoint those 2 guys and Red Dragon. You got shout outs to my boy Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. I mean Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly.
Come on, you can't interchange Red Dragon with some Undisputed Era members.
I mean, that's what they pretty much did. Dude, yeah, no, legit, Young Bucks, Red Dragon, that ROH, during those days in ROH, that's really was the pinpoint of me giving a shit about tag team wrestling. I'll take that.
Well, for me, it was the first tables, ladders, and chairs match, Hardys and the Dudleys.
Yeah.
Or I think it was just
that was a defining moment for a lot of people.
And it was just I remember watching it, just oh my God, Jeff on the top doing this. Anyways, everyone's seen it a million times.
I associate Jeff Hardy more with the WrestleMania 2000 from the stands Swanton, the Swanton bomb from the stands. I remember legitimately that blowing me away more than most.
That's the one in
WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm mentioning.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Kenny says the Young Bucks weirds out Adam Page. Kenny Omega and Adam Page, they got a shot at Tag Team of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah. They legit. I feel like I can't think of anybody better than them right now.
Street Profits are just right behind them. I mean,
they're not bad. I know I know you joke, but they're not bad. MJF comes out. I mean, they're not tag of the year, but you know what I mean. Yeah. MJF comes out with his podium again. He tells the audience to use the hashtag MJF 2020 and hashtag not my champion. Before he starts his speech, he tells Nina to smile a little bit. He asks Nina to summon a poll saying MJF is plus 500 and Moxley is minus 1,000, where it just shows it just shows the states, and it's just all in favor of MJF.
Numbers don't lie, man. Numbers don't lie.
Yep, he references Scott Steiner and TNA, saying the numbers don't lie, but he doesn't say it spells disaster for Moxley at Sacrifice, which understandably so. He says Mox doesn't care about you because if he did, he'd be here tonight. But MJF is man enough to admit that he'll take responsibility for Moxley's actions because deep down Moxley is afraid of him. Mox is in uncharted territory as MJF is undefeated. MJF then lays on the ring as the camera. So yeah, he lays on the ring to do pretty much try to do a favor for Moxley.
Well, because he did that inside reference where he says, "Oh, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that just
stares at the lights for you."
He goes, but then he lays down. And he goes, "Well, here, does this make you more comfortable? Are you gonna come out now, John?"
And so when he does this, I'm gonna tell you the one person who was not comfortable, and that was the fucking cameramen trying to set up the zoom shot for MJF, because when they were trying to set up the shot, they were zooming in to a section of it could only zoom into a section of the ring that has nothing to do with MJF, and you could tell they tried to have they were trying to control the camera with it with some joystick, because God knows there is no cameraman up though that is willing to go up there.
No.
And so
I thought it was some new rig cam or some new.
Yeah, it was like a rig cam. It just wasn't willing to go down at the level that they needed. So maybe MJF missed his mark in the ring, or it just looked really awkward. And so they just cut out of it plenty of times. And they tried it so many times to a point where they just gave up on it, and they just had a cameraman on the ring, and they just signaled to MJF to stare at that camera.
Yeah.
So MJF calls Mox a dog chasing cars. He wouldn't know what to do with one if he caught it, which is a reference to Joker from The Dark Knight. He one of the more memorable lines from that movie. He tells him to fork the keys to a new leader to someone who's better than him, and he knows it, and that he knows better.
Real quick, I just saw a tweet from Jericho 10 hours ago. Make America MJF again.
He's in support of the heel. That's what the heel does.
Yeah.
Moxley's music plays, and MJF panically tells his staff to cut off any possible entrance that Moxley could possibly be in. But alas, Moxley comes through the entryway, which is to the surprise of everybody. And in doing so, and he beats MJF down. He gives him an elevated paradigm shift. Kind of looked like the Death Rider, like what he does in New Japan. And Mox grabs the mic, says they're not even, and that on September 5th, he'll teach MJF a lesson in humility, and it's going to be a very bitter pill to swallow. As Jon Moxley just exits through backstage, and we get a very nice Tony Khan cameo in the back. Did you see Tony Khan? He was just in his shorts. He's like, hey, all right.
I'm gonna go lift weights with Cody. I'll be right back. Did you see how buff that guy's getting?
Tony Khan?
Yeah. He's getting shredded.
You're around buff dudes. It kind of just gets on you, man.
Well, I know. I'm just pointing it out. He's getting shredded.
We end the segment as MJF complains about his neck. What'd you think of this segment?
Ow, my neck. No, it was good. The one thing I'm starting to annoy me about my MJF is that it's just everything he fucking says. It's just, insider reference, guys, insider reference. Just like, all right, I get it. You know, like,
I didn't really get it off of this week. Like
the whole, staring
at the lights. Like you can use that outside of kayfabe. Like, staring at the lights is a literal meaning of somebody who's, knocked out, who lost a match and is laying down and is unable to get up. They're they're proverbially staring at the lights. That's not exactly just an insider term. That's
right. But he
literal
said,
term.
He says, I'm not one of those guys who's just going to look at the sky for you.
Yeah, that's just
I won't jump out to you.
It's more just a metaphor at that point. He's not going to give up.
When he said that, I got Russo vibes, man. I did.
No. If you were getting Russo vibes, like the only way they would possibly get Russo vibes is if he says, God, I'm trying to remember that podcast. I mean, if he drops a good shit, you know what I mean? And I don't think AEW Dynamite. I don't think they're not there yet. And
then also just the thing with the Samoa, pushing the guy to the side, just like Samoa Joe did with him. It's just so like a wink and a nod to the internet fans. Like, remember that, guys?
I don't know. I didn't have a problem with that at all, man.
I didn't have a problem with it at all. But at a certain point, all these winks and nods to the internet community and to these hardcore fans like myself, it's just like, okay, I get it. I get it, dude. You don't need to say like a couple weeks ago, oh, that's the stone cold truth.
I think
that's just what I think is what I'm saying. And I think he can calm down a little bit on it. But you like it and a lot of other people like it too. So I'm not, what can I say to that then?
Can you say? Matt Hardy interview with Alex Marvez. He brings up the Sammy chair spot, and he won't wait until the 22nd, which is a Saturday.
Did you see the slow-mo?
Oh, yeah, it was bad.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, there were reports that Sammy Guevara just got like a stern talking to after that spot, which, he's already in thin ice, already as is. Like, he's pushing his luck.
It's funny too, because if you go back and look at the footage, Sammy hits him with a chair, and then all of a sudden he's just like, "Yeah, Matt, take that."
Oh shit! What did I do?
Yeah,
crap.
F you, Matt. Yeah.
Oh great. So yeah, he's so mad that he beats up Mike Mosley, who's similarly dressed up as Sammy Guevara, and that's just like I like how the one of the referee, I think it was Paul Turner or Rick Knox, where he's like, oh my God, he beat up Mike Posey. It's like he's Kenny from South Park. And then and then Tony Schiavone or JR just said it too, like, that was Mike Posey.
Oh my God.
Which, hey, you know what? It's just one of those things that AEW does where they're giving everybody a name, which is cool. Try to make everybody an individual instead of just like this piece of meat.
Yeah. Unlike meat from WWE.
Of course. Who was meat in WWE?
Sean Stasiak.
Yeah, it was in WCW.
Yeah, he was Sean Stasiak. He was meat in WWE. That's when he was with Terry, right? Terry and Jacqueline. And he was called Meat.
That is true. That is very true. Excuse me. Scorpio Sky versus Cody for the TNT Championship. Scorpio Sky kicks a no attendance door down. I don't get it. Did you get this?
He's knocking the door. I feel like it's yeah.
It was kind of corny, just like Scorpio Sky.
I like him. Come on.
I like him too. He's a bit on the. You know what? I'll just say right now. I think Scorpio Sky. He's the type of dude he's. Let me be clear. Like, this guy is 37 years old, but to me, he comes off as a guy who. You ever play an open world video game and
Grand Theft Auto?
No. Like, let's say Spider-Man. That was a game you very much played, right? I remember you 100%ing that. Scorpio Sky is a guy who is pretty much Spider-Man 2 hours into that game. You know what I mean? Like, you got to level him up. You got, like, he needs a more defined offense. He needs to be a little bit more seasoned. And when I say seasoned, like, I start to realize, like, this dude is 37 years old. And for him to not find the proverbial it at this point in his career.
Well, he's been a tag team wrestler for the better half of the last 10 years.
Like, if anything, that should all the more should season you up a bit more. But yeah, no, tag team wrestling is not singles wrestling by any stretch, but you would think that he would have a bit more progress.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's just not that dynamic enough, especially to be TNT champion.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes Cody is the exact same way, man. Like, if Cody wasn't like have the name and character work of Cody, maybe that's what Scorpio Sky needs, is just better character work, because he is a little.
But I think Cody he does, but I think his offense is a little bit more defined in a sense that you know what you're getting into with a Cody match. Like, I still don't, but you see what Cody really is kind of going for, which is like that 80s Ric Flair kind of style. With Scorpio Sky, I think he just does, like, he just kind of has a bland moveset. And I think he's been on the bland side in general. And I get it. Like, people were really excited about Scorpio Sky and the fact that they, representation matters. Like, the commentary kind of hammered home, like, how cool would it be? Like, Scorpio Sky is one of the first African-American AEW, like, champions in this company. And for him to be a world champion would mean the world. And so, I mean, I get like it, but
that's one of the first.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And so I made that distinction. It's just, to me, I mean, I don't know. I was just not sold on the guy, and apparently they weren't really either. But yeah, Cody, his entire Nightmare family in the newly minted TNT Championship with gold. What do you think of this title?
The title looks beautiful. Yeah.
I know. I saw you shaking your head. I'm like, what?
I'm shaking my head at Cody, man.
Okay.
You want me to wait until after the match?
I'm going to say this right now. Justin Roberts calls Cody the Prince of Pro Wrestling, so he's totally not a heel, you guys. Just him calling himself the Prince of Pro Wrestling, totally not a heel. And then Justin Roberts goes on to introduce one Mike Chioda, coming back fresh off from being laid off in WWE. It's good to see him. You think he's going to be a permanent fixture in AEW? You think he's all elite?
I think he's all elite. I think Mike Chioda's all elite.
Okay. Nightmare Family goes to the back, but Arn stays. Cody outstrengths Sky and just flexes in front of him. Again, not a heel. They tease a count out. Both men they tease a count out, but both men beat the count out as they were beating on each other on the outside. Weird sentence. So Cody alluded earlier in the week that his ribs hurt, so naturally Sky fucks those ribs up. Cody reverses a TKO into a crossroads, but Sky kicks out. Taz thought he was Dunsky. Lots of pinfall attempts from both men. Sky does a spear, 2 count. Cody continues to sell the ribs, and then Sky attempts like this sort of springboard cutter, but Cody stops it and goes for another crossroads, pins Sky 1, 2, 3 for the clean finish. I wasn't really a fan of this match.
No,
I thought there was no build to that move. There was no build to that finish. I thought it was kind of rushed. I think Scorpio Sky just came off as just one of those, like he kind of just and like even in the post match, he kind of just fucks off. And so I'm like watching this match, and I know I've been arguing for like in favor of Cody Rhodes, but then I've just kind of come to the realization that the only person I can think of that Cody put over throughout this entire TNT run was probably just Eddie Kingston at this point.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, dude. I know we're all like, oh, Cody's building up to a heel turn.
I mean, in my recap, he kind of totally is. But go on.
Oh, absolutely. He called the Prince of Pro Wrestling. He's defending. Hold on. He's defending the title every week. He's, eventually going to be like, oh, I can't do this anymore. But it's just also, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
There was also something in the commentary that they kept on saying after Cody won was that, Cody, like, if he was just an average wrestler, he'd just be wrestling once a week. But let's not forget, he's also the EVP. He works all week and then he wrestles. And they really kind of just hammer in home that, he works a full schedule.
Okay, I got it now.
They don't know, like, they don't know how he's going to do it. They don't know how he's just able to maintain this. And I think
so. Go on.
Yeah, they try to like, have this sense of worriness for Cody of just like any which way of a possibility of a burnout on his side. And I think they're honestly teasing, a series of matches where Cody will just kind of try to take shortcuts because he's kind of being worn down by so many of these title defenses.
Okay, so
I feel like that's going to be the natural direction.
Here's
of
the thing.
This.
I kind of figured what I was thinking of. How are like you going to turn one of the biggest faces heel? How?
Because
you lie to the fans. You lie to the fans. I'm not going to book myself to win. I want to win my titles. I want to earn my opportunity. I want to do this and that. And then eventually,
wait. I'm not going to. Can you repeat that? He said, "I'm not going to win.
I'm not going to book myself to win." Just like when he was coming in.
Okay, that
says.
But saying I'm not going to book myself to win, that just seems like that. There's a disconnect to saying that. Like I don't think has he ever actually said that.
Well, I think going into AEW, him, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks all kind of came out and said, we don't want to just start a company where we're going to put ourselves over.
They've always said that sarcastically. They kind of just said that like just to dismiss any criticisms of anybody saying that.
Right, but how many fans they don't want to book themselves to win? How many fans are going to take that for its word? And Cody just saying, fuck that, I don't care at a certain point. And, him losing the title and then turning around, putting the crossroads on somebody, restarting the match, winning the title back. Oh, that'd be the ultimate heel turn.
But remember how many people were complaining that the Elite were not booked strong enough?
Well, they were saying that about the Bucks. I don't think anyone was saying about Cody 17-1 this year, dude.
I mean, they want to. Hey, listen. They want to They want to establish a hierarchy, and they want to establish that Cody is at the top of this hierarchy.
Yes.
And
because
you get nothing, like you're not going to get anything done if you 50-50 book, like if they're going all the way with Cody, then they're going to go all the way with Cody.
New Japan did a good.
And so, dude, like just remember how long it took for Okada to actually legitimately topple Tanahashi. Like that. I said long storyline.
I said with Cody. Cody doesn't have to be. I don't think Cody is to me a world champion. I don't think he is. I don't think he's ever proven himself.
You don't think he's world champion material?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't. Like
you're 2017 Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah.
I'm world champion material.
I'm saying that right now in 2020. I don't think Cody Rhodes is world champion material.
Do you remember how over that dude was going into Full Gear and how like cutting those babyface promos?
Yeah.
Like like Jericho was the right guy to win that match. But I would have super not argued against dropping it to Cody. It was too early to book that match, I can say that. But then for Cody to win that was the natural storyline. But
just him as a pure, it's just, I saw
he's really good at being a pure babyface. I think he's better as being a heel, but he's still really good at being a pure babyface.
He's okay. He's pretty good as a babyface. There's parts of me that I just look at him. I'm just like, dude, like you are just like this. You were raised kind of like rich and privileged, and how does that kind of translate to being a white meat babyface?
Yeah. Brody appears with the old TNT title on the Tron and challenges him on the 22nd. He says, "Put respect on his name, and I will take that gold TNT championship, but I will give, and then he whips out the old silver TNT championship and then just says, I'll give this to you when I'm done. And so, yeah. And Sky just fucking walks away. So I don't know what the fuck.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. How much you want to bet he's going to be on Dark next week?
They call him yeah. Fuck
so
that.
we'll see what to do with him. Private Party. They asked Private Party what's his favorite tag team. They say the Hardy Boys, and then we get a picture of Jeff and Matt. Jeff Hardy's Dynamite debut.
Was it a picture of like Jeff Hardy from like a fan's perspective?
They were like, it was just like them as kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, well, this is Matt Hardy and his brother Hardy.
Yeah. Jurassic Express versus Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega for the TNT Tag Team Championship. Luchasaurus says hi to his mom and that it only took him 65 million years to get this dinosaur title shot. Good on you. And then Tony Schiavone, he really plugs next week's BTE. I think it was just, like, the more I think about it, the more it was just him saying, like, guys, watch BTE. And you know what? Guys, watch BTE. It's a great show, and you'll love Dark Order in it. They continue to be the best parts of that show. Did you watch BTE this week?
I did.
Dark Order, still great. In fact, I feel like it was one of the best.
Ooh, candy.
Oh, my God.
Candy.
So stupid. In a good way.
Marcus.
You got Frankie Kazarian all by himself, watching real diligently with no Christopher Daniels, just by himself, which is...
Why wasn't he in Cody's corner? Or not Cody's, but Scorpio Sky's corner. You know.
Who knows? Kenny and Jungle Boy, they start things off. Marco Stunt then immediately gets on Kenny, and we get a DQ finish. No, we didn't. I was just trying to get your attention. Commentary puts over that Kenny is taking
some of the match, but
yeah. Commentary puts over that Kenny is taking too long for the tag and is dangerously keeping himself in the match at the cost of his own shell. Hangman stops a springboard arm drag that was botched from Jungle Boy and just smacks his shit, saving the spot, and just kicks Luchasaurus' face in, and that's why Adam Page is my favorite. V-trigger and a snapdragon to Luchasaurus, and then does it to Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy on the outside. Like, these fucking looked dangerous, dude. Like, man, I don't know how Kenny just does it without killing anybody. That's why he's the best. Luchasaurus tosses Marco to Omega on the outside. They both work on Page, kicks his shit in. Omega prevents the pinfall. Buckshot V-trigger combination, 2 Jungle Boy, titles retained. Really good match. This would have been better with Excalibur on the helm because he was not here last week. It was just another one of these matches where I feel like, you know, you have Excalibur just saying the moves and putting it over, but you have JR just kind of not making a mockery of it, but then he's also not really taking it seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
and he was kind of like this throughout the entire show. And it's just like,
I was caught off guard. I wasn't paying attention.
No, it's okay. And it's just that God bless JR, but he can't lead. He really can't lead.
Oh, yeah, Excalibur. Well, he's going to be back soon. It seems
28th.
Seems like he was suspended. To me, that's what it seems like.
But so the actual report says that this was his call. They could have easily just kept him, but then he said, "I'm just going to." Well, you're giving me a face that I'm lying, but
I don't think you're lying at all. I don't think you would make up. I don't think you would make anything up to say. I don't know if it was actually his call. Like, who's to say if it was really his call? What do you know? Or what,
sources, Cody,
versus what's being told us.
Then I mean, that's what Meltzer said. So, since when does Meltzer ever lie? Never.
Seth Rollins could talk a little something about that.
God damn it, Seth Rollins. You hear what he said, right? We don't have to go into it, but
we talked about it a long time ago.
No, he said. Didn't you see? He said some new shit about how the I can't. Well, no, it's okay.
About what? No, now we got to know.
Oh God, no! That's the thing. I kind of forgot exactly what he said, but like he just said another bootlicking comment that was that was just a long time ago, and I don't really get into it. Santana and Ortiz mess with the best friend's bags and contents they mess with the best friend's bags, and then they just kind of throw away what's in. Like they just throw their gear on the shower, and they just throw bleach all over it, and then they just press the shower, and they just dose it with water. And
those heels. Getting clothes wet.
FTR and Young Bucks are out with Arn, Tully, and the Rock and Roll Express. This is your tag team appreciation celebration. Matt says the whole thing about Rock and Roll saying they're the original Bucks and name drops Sean and Marty Jannetty. It's Very, very curious timing in name dropping Marty Jannetty this week.
Did it ever
They didn't say Marty Jannetty. They just said Sean and Marty, and I'm like,
like Sean and his partner.
Marty. And I was like, ooh, I know, but Dax Harwood then cuts his promo praising Rock and Roll for getting able to work, for laying the foundation for them to work in the business and what they did for tag team wrestling, and to give Dax the opportunities that he has to feed his family, to do what he loves doing. Your standard wrestling, like, oh, you guys did this, so I can do this kind of promo. Ricky Morton then gets on the mic and says the Bucks are the top tag teams in the world. Like, he specifically just points at the Bucks being the top tag team in the world in front of FTR. Arn gets the mic. He says he's not a guy to blow smoke, but puts over Rock and Roll and then calls them tag team of the century, which, he pretty much just blew smoke. No, but he says he speaks the truth. No, he says he doesn't blow smoke, but he speaks the truth. So, but says FTR is the best team in the world right now. Mm-hmm. Tully Blanchard then gets the mic and makes things awkward for everybody and says,
he grabbed it out of Ricky.
He grabs it out of Arn Anderson, and Tully was actually
Ricky.
Okay. Tully's, again, proves like how fucking good he is on the mic. And he says, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time because he's got championship rings, which got boos. And I don't think a good portion of the AEW audience knows that Tom Brady, he plays for Tampa. Like, I know that, but no, he doesn't play in Jacksonville. He plays for Tampa, but then
in Jacksonville.
I mean, is there just like a regional rivalry, like
Raiders, Niners? I mean, I'm assuming so. I'm sure the Chargers and the
I guess, yeah,
have some sort of rivalry. It's just,
but he name drops Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, because he's got championship rings, and says both Bucks and FTR aren't the best because they aren't champions. He brings a good point. Tully brings up last year's All Out to Arn and says that he doesn't understand his deal with Cody, as he points at the American Nightmare insignia on his vest. And then Sean Spears just awkwardly, slowly walks.
Are you guys talking about me? You guys talking about me?
Nobody was talking about you, Sean Spears, and no one continued.
They brought up his match. I mean,
no one continues to not talk about Sean Spears. Tully throws a punch on Ricky, and then a pull apart happens in which Dax Harwood tweaks his bad leg. I thought this was like, he was so good that I legitimately thought I bought it. I'll just say that. And so Bucks are then trying to get Tully, Sean Spears, and Arn Anderson to get they're just separating everybody. Yeah. And then they're like out on the ramp. And then you see FTR slowly getting back up, removing the brace. And then both of them just attack the Rock and Roll Express, and they give Robert Gibson a shatter. No, they give Ricky Morton. Who's the blonde one? Who's the white-haired one?
Ricky Morton, I think. They
give Ricky Morton a shatter machine, or whatever that pile driver was called. And this is your heel turn. This is your official heel turn for FTR.
I told you my Ricky Morton story, right?
He thinks you have a really you look like Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, he either worked me or he was having a senile moment. I honestly,
he probably worked you.
Yeah, but whatever.
If he can take a fucking shatter machine, he can work you.
Yeah, but then he could also be senile if he takes a shatter machine. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I have faith that Ricky Morton is. Are you telling me that a wrestler worked you? Anyway, Hangman and Omega come out, tend to rock and roll as we end the segment. I really like this segment a lot. Some might say it was the best segment in the show. Again, it's one of those things where like AEW just uses their old guys really well. Like they used this to elevate the talent that they have now. I really liked Tully Blanchard. He really brought this whole thing together in bringing up how FTR and the Bucks, like, you can't claim yourself as the best because you're not champions, and that that further cements the tension that they could possibly have with Hangman and Omega, because they're all three of them are tight with each other, but at the end of the day, it's a competition, and you can't claim yourself as the greatest because you're not champions. And I really thought Tully really brought that whole thing together. And Arn, Tully, And Sean Spears, Arn Tully, Sean Spears, FTR. They just need one more dude. Who do you think that one more dude is going to be?
Cody.
Some people are saying Omega. Doesn't make sense.
Fit.
It doesn't really make sense, and it doesn't really fit.
The other guys have like the Southern thing going on, and I think Cody would
an old-fashioned way going on. It seemed kind of obvious, honestly. Sean, Tully, and Arn, they just leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there you go. I really like this segment. Mike Chioda is with Alex Marvez, in which Jericho pretty much teases a screw job finish. And I love Jericho's nickname for Mike Chioda. You know what it is?
Geeky.
Do you love me?
Kiki's delivery service, right?
I never heard of it, but
you never heard of Kiki? It's like an anime from like when I was a kid. It was like a
sure.
Anyways,
anime listeners, listen in. Sammy Guevara has his cue cards as we go to picture in picture. I didn't take notes on these.
We're going picture in picture. Let's go.
Yep. Restaurant. This week he called picture in picture restaurant quality, which is very great.
Yeah. Share, man.
Yep. Arashida versus Heather Monroe, and your weekly reminder that your women's division does indeed exist. It's a match. Sheeta, she can't squash because she's a face, so Monroe gets a little bit of offense in. They plug AEW heels. JR tells us he follows Sheeta on Twitter. I thought that was creepy, but he also talks about how much she works out, which is
also creepy.
Which is also creepy. But he doesn't plug her YouTube channel, unfortunately.
She has a YouTube channel. What's she do there?
Sheeta Tube.
What does she do there?
I feel like it's just kind of it's not a competition because I think she has her 10-1 with it's pretty much like Asuka's channel.
Oh yeah, JR's not following that, dude. JR wants to see the workout videos, and he's gonna I'm gonna click like on that, and that's a good. I like that pic. Go follow Sonny, JR.
Tony Yep. Sheeta counters a roll up with a Brock lock for the submission victory. So new submission from Sheeta.
Heather Monroe wrestles out of Southern California. If you guys aren't familiar with her, she wrestles also in Northern California, all around California, actually.
California scene, California girls, they're undeniable.
Yeah. All right.
Tony post-match interviews. Sheeta says she's still waiting for a challenger. Bring it on. And Tony Schiavone interview with no interruption. That's way to subvert my expectations there.
Yeah.
Less than 10 minutes dedicated to the women this week. Hot off, no pun intended, hot off the heels, off the whole AEW heels criticism, which, to a point where Brandy had to quit Twitter. I really felt like they had an opportunity to really make a statement on their women's division this week, and they either couldn't find enough time, or B, they just kind of had nothing. And it's incredibly glaring. And you see every post mentioning the women on AEW's Twitter account talking about how they're just not getting a fair shake. And it's just, you would hope that AEW has that level of self-awareness, but this week in particular, you're starting to you're kind of seeing how they're kind of just not able to read the room in that regard. And it's disappointing. It's a little bit disappointing. And I think they just got to do better.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about the AEW heel thing.
And you got to be fair a little, and in the interest of fairness, losing Statlander, losing Britt Baker, losing your international talent in Riho, Emi Sakura, Yuka Sakazaki, COVID did them no favors whatsoever in that regard. And it's while it's understandable, you can't really say that's an excuse. You work around these things. That's what you're kind of in the business of doing. You have to find ways to turn negatives into positives, and they really did try. I have a sense they really did try. They had a sense of trying with Ivelisse and Diamante, and just this tag team tournament. And it's just, but then they're also on YouTube, or they're just generally not great matches, which is too bad in and of itself. I don't know. It's more of a, it's just, I can't say anything else, but other than be just kind of just bummed out and disappointed. You would think they would really try, but I guess they just don't have anything for them. What do you think? Again, less than 10 minutes dedicated to the women this week.
I don't know, man. I don't really have anything to say about it. Yeah.
Like, they don't have anything for Sheeta. Like, as of right now, like, they don't really have anything for her going into All Out. Like she said, bring it on.
I'm sure it's going to be Nyla Rose. I mean, it seems like that's where they're heading.
I guess. I don't know. Like, will they run that back again? Like, they did have a match on Double or Nothing. I mean, we didn't even get anything from we didn't even get anything in regards to Britt Baker or Big Swole. Like, we didn't even get any advancement on that week. Like, I guess they were just.
I don't know.
Well, then they got to figure it out, man.
I agree. But I don't know. I don't have anything to say about it.
We don't have the answers.
Yeah, at least for that.
Yeah. Jake the Snake is with Lance Archer, who kills dudes in the background yet again. And then he rips Jake's shirt and shows his back, which says, "Everybody dies." I thought this was weird, dude.
Wait, I didn't see this.
Lance Archer rips open Jake the Snake Roberts' shirt. So you get to see his love handles. I mean, like, God bless DDP Yoga. He's really trying hard, but Jake's getting up there. You can only do so much. So we have a shirtless Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
They made him turn around, and on his back it's written, "Everybody dies." And that was pretty much it for the segment. I legitimately thought, like, Lance Archer, he goes up to Jake the Snake and he says, Did you tell him? Did you tell him, Jake? And I just thought, like, oh, they might have something for Lance Archer coming into this week, coming into All Out or whatever, anything for Lance Archer. Yeah. And then I was really disappointed when he just rips up Jake the Snake's, shirt and just showed "Everybody dies." It's like, it's the same old song and dance with this guy. I think he's another person that I tried to use this term loosely, but he's kind of a victim to Cody. He right out of the gate, him competing for that TNT title,
that's one of the
loses, and he's not over. He's not getting over.
You have to be you're gonna have to be Ric Flair to knock Cody off and to win the championship from him, because he is not.
Because you don't think Cody is Ric Flair.
I don't. No, but what I'm saying is that I think that Cody's just not going to lose that title to, like,
anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's been proven. He's not going to lose it to Eddie Kingston. He's not going to lose it to Scorpio Sky. He's probably not going to lose it to Brody King.
It's not like he can't have rematches. Like, they could bring. Honestly, Eddie Kingston seems to be to me, the number one guy him and Brody Lee. Like, I can see Brody Lee, like,
I don't think
here's the thing. I don't like I don't really like fantasy booking, but it would make sense that for Cody Rhodes as a character to cheat his way out of that Brody Lee match, take shortcuts. I think this is the match where you do it, and you would have Brody Lee just being fucking furious, and you build to All Out. Yeah. But yeah. Next Wednesday, part 1 of last year's All Out on YouTube.
That's nice.
Yeah, just part 1.
That's cool, though.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
August 22nd, following the NBA playoffs at 6 Eastern. So get ready for 3 p.m. Dynamite, Corey. You think you'll be able to watch it? What? Yeah.
So we're going to, I guess, programming note for all of our listeners.
So it's a Saturday.
Saturday night, we will have a special episode of The B Show. It's going to be Dynamite and NXT TakeOver Triple X, so Vin Diesel's going to be on the show.
Yeah, it would be the worst show of all time.
Can you put like a Vin Diesel like PNG picture?
No, everybody in the locker room is just going to have that tattoo on the back of their neck.
They're all Triple X. So like I said, next week we will be back here to cover NXT. So we'll have a kind of a shorter show next Wednesday or Thursday.
I kind of want to watch TakeOver. I want to be on. No, never mind. Nothing.
Right. No. And then Saturday after that, we'll be back with a TakeOver Dynamite show. So Dynamite TakeOver show. It's going to be Dynamite.
They haven't announced anything for that the week after for that Dynamite. They gotta do something big. They're competing against a TakeOver, or maybe they just take this on the chin. What do you think?
And SummerSlam's the next day, and then Payback's the next week, and then All Out's. Jesus fucking Christ, man!
Hey, you didn't want to cover main roster for a reason, so you shouldn't be stressed out.
I started doing it again, so.
Yeah, well, there you go. Are you a WWE Network subscriber?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, you plead the fifth. Yeah, August 22nd, following the NBA playoffs at 6 Eastern, they announced FTR versus Private Party, Cody versus Brody Lee. Was there anything else I was missing? Because that's all I wrote for next week. I feel
I
like
don't know. Didn't see it. Didn't see that part. So
hold on. I now I want to know. So next
now
week
you want to know.
All right, I'm gonna go all Meltzer on you again.
Go all out.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we had here, I'm not gonna do Brian Alvarez because that would just be. I always thought we should do a show where we do it just like Brian Brian Alvarez.
Oh, where I have to call you on the landline
3 minutes in after every show. I got Michael back on the phone. Michael, what do you think of AEW?
Here's hope. Hey, how much do you want to bet it's gonna happen again? Anyway, main event: Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho, $7,000 obligation match. Loser has to pay $7,000.
I think it was just if Orange loses, he had to pay $7,000.
Really? I thought it was just $7,000 on the line.
I don't think he won $7,000. I think he just won.
Okay, sure. You're more confident about that than I am. JR says Jericho's got fluid with him as he wears the orange jacket. Again, JR, phrasing. Orange starts with aggressive strikes, flying shoulder blocks. Orange does a hand in pocket dive to Jericho from the top. Jericho does the top rope rebound kick as he builds heat on Orange. Delayed vertical suplex on Orange as we come back from the commercial. Orange plays possum by tricking Jericho into his no-effort offense yet again. Again, tape study Jericho. Too busy being a fucking
match study. Jesus Christ.
No, he was too busy being a fucking idiot at Sturgis. That's what he was doing. Which... Yeah, go, whatever. Walls of Jericho applied. Orange gets out of it. Ankle lock to Jericho. Jericho is about to use Floyd, but tells Mike Chioda to turn a blind eye and do the right thing. He doesn't. Mike Chioda grabs Floyd from Jericho and
Floyd the bat.
Stops that. Yeah, Floyd the bat. Yeah. Michinoku driver and penalty kick to Jericho, followed by Superman punch. Right after that, fuckery ensues as best friends prevent Santana and Ortiz from entering. Mike Chioda is distracted by this, which gives Jake Hager the opportunity to give Orange an Oklahoma slam. Jericho lightly pushes Chioda, which distracts him enough for Jericho to hit Orange in the balls. But Orange sets himself up for a very awkward pin cradle for the surprise pin and win.
Yeah.
Then you get a brief look of Jericho in disbelief and a quick thumbs up from Orange Cassidy to get us the fuck out of here in time for Riddick at 7 p.m. sharp. So they had to get the hell out of there. Cassidy wins. Jericho's pissed. Cassidy gives a thumbs up, and we're done. We're out. 7 p.m. Time for Riddick.
Yeah.
It's so clear that the rubber match is at All Out. I think the right guy won. I think Orange Cassidy should have won this one. Just for this to make sense on the pay-per-view going forward.
I don't think he should have won the way he won way too clean.
And that's why. Honestly, it should no. It shouldn't. No, it being very fluky. Like, I thought this gives credence to the fact that they are going to complete this trilogy at All Out. It kind of does make sense when you think of it that way.
I was more hoping for a screw job over Jericho in some respects.
I think that just cripples that. It just cripples that feud for future, for future matchups. I think that would seriously do a disservice on Orange Cassidy, considering what they did last week.
Yeah. By
building up to the potential humiliation of Jericho losing to Orange Cassidy, and then following up with that, and then just opening up for a realm of possibility of, Jericho and Orange Cassidy clearly being at All Out, the blow off match. And I thought that in and of itself was great. I just think they should have timed this better. And I think Jericho looked completely gassed in the final stretch. And I hope to God it was because he's out of shape, because I don't want to say it, but it could have been COVID. Like, the motherfucker performed at Sturgis. He's an idiot, and he's
an athlete, and he's going to get.
He's not an athlete. I mean, Chris Jericho was an athlete.
He's more of an athlete than I would say we are. He wrestled.
That's fair. That is completely fair.
So what I'm saying is, like, he's gonna get winded. I mean, we can't just sit.
He's
here.
Older. He's not getting any younger.
Yeah, we can't.
We got to be fair.
Oh, he's coughing. Uh-oh. Yeah, he was.
Well, then that, which begs the question: do you think Jericho should wrestle 20-minute matches? I don't have the exact time on this, but it must have felt like 40 minutes for Jericho.
Like 14.
Yeah. No, the right guy won, and I liked the way this match was structured. It was rushed. It was a rushed finish because they could not get past 7 p.m., which, you know, they got to time these right better, because I just wasn't given enough to fully digest the victory of Orange Cassidy. Like, and again, we say this all the goddamn time. If this was the plan all along and they had this in front of a crowd without COVID, this would have been a fucking cornerstone moment for Dynamite.
Yeah.
You know, the place would have been super fucking wild. I didn't get that feeling, and understandably so, in Daly's place. And but this makes sense. It was a sensible finish. I liked this. I liked the match. I like Orange Cassidy. Jericho, he stood his own, even though he did look really tired. And yeah, this Dynamite, there was a lot of hype going into it. I do think it's still going to do a really good number, but to say that it reached my expectations, I'm not going to go as far as to say that. I think
we'll have a segment or two maybe to reach somewhat around.
No, I'm talking about my personal opinion on this episode of Dynamite. I think the Cody versus Scorpio Sky match, I was just kind of perplexed by. I kind of did wish there was Scorpio Sky had more to offer, or they gave Scorpio Sky a little bit more. I think the finish was a little bit too clean. I think this was the match for Cody to take shortcuts, but I guess they're saving that for Brody Lee. Yeah. Moxley, there wasn't enough of Moxley. I know that they're trying to space him out. They want to, you know, I think they need to put a little bit more. They want to put. I feel like they should put a little bit more importance to that title match, because to me, I feel this is another Moxley match where I just don't feel like this main event. You know what I mean? He's been kind of on a string with that. Do you ever we're and I know we're only like 3 months into this title reign. As crazy as that's not 3 months. When it was
February, right? Well,
right now is August, so we're less than 6 months like into this title reign. Like, do you feel like Moxley is a big deal as a champion? And I know that's an unfair question because, you know, but
I mean, what's a big deal? I mean, he's not on the level of like Stone Cold or The Rock.
That's not okay. Look, that's not an unfair comparison. Like, just strictly within AEW in and of itself, throughout all the storylines, do you think Moxley, for what we feel right now, main events All Out?
Yeah,
it should, and it probably will be.
I think
but you feel it should? But then do you just feel that? And I know they got like a couple weeks, but then I'm not feeling that right now.
I think if they have some different type of match. I mean, the other matches that have like headlined over the world title, you had Moxley and Omega in the unsanctioned match or the lights out match or whatever it was called.
I just don't feel a sense of importance to your world title, and it hasn't felt that way in a while. And you can partly blame that. You know, you can mostly blame that on just the circumstances involved. But yeah, it was Dynamite. I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I would be lying. I would be lying if it met my expectations going into it. This was a pretty stacked card, and I can't say it was bad, but I can't say it was great. It was pretty good, but it was fine.
Can't say it was good. Can't say it was great.
Like, it was a 7 out of 10. I give this.
Wow,
this show a 7 out of 10.
That's good.
It's good. It's good.
Well, that was AEW Dynamite. Can we go home now?
Yeah. What? NXT? It happened. Fucking Velveteen Dream is back. That's really the main takeaway.
Let's get into this, because fucking NXT sucked this week.
Oh man,
like
Johnny Gargano almost died.
I just can't.
They tape in bulk. You want to just do breaking news right now?
No, I don't want to talk about. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone.
It's not a spoiler. Johnny Gargano almost legitimately died. No, he didn't almost die. It was a scary bump.
Yeah, it happened in a match that we haven't seen yet, so technically it's.
I mean, they announced it.
Oh, we'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
But just this episode sucked. Like, I can't get over it. First off, Vic Joseph, love the guy, but he's replacing.
Was it Vic Joseph?
Yeah, Vic Joseph was replacing Tom Phillips.
Okay.
For some reason.
He sounded a little bit different. Like, okay.
Yeah. So that was already like, okay. Then we have Karrion Kross versus Danny Burch.
Karrion Kross selling to Danny Burch. How'd that make you feel?
I mean, Danny Burch.
He's great.
He's great.
He's in Modern Warfare, which I just learned recently. He's in a video game called Modern Warfare. It's
voice?
6 million people. Yeah, he's just a voice.
Birch gets in the ring and he tells them, he ring the bell, ring the bell. He starts giving drop kicks to Karrion Kross, back and forth between the two men. Exploder suplex to Danny Birch. Birch, though, gets the hope spot with a few clotheslines and a cross.
Loser loses their hair.
Exact. Well, loser gets to wear a wig.
They have to wear a wig. They have to wear Sasha Banks' wig.
Doomsday. I just want to see Danny Birch now.
That happened this year. That's why I made that reference.
So Doomsday Saito to Birch, where Joseph called it a German suplex, which it wasn't. It was a Doomsday Saito.
Listen, I get moves wrong all the time, so I'm never going to criticize. I will criticize somebody calling play-by-play of getting the moves wrong.
When they get paid for it.
That's true.
Cross jacket applied to Birch, submission victory. This match was decent. I give it a 6 out of 10.
I thought you said NXT was terrible. But yeah.
It was. I was. After the match, though, I felt the ending was very abrupt, though, and it just ended. After the match, Keith Lee comes down to the ring.
Boy, I have a show for you.
Keith Lee has a contract in hand. He says, that's when Cross leaves the ring with Scarlett. He says, Cross, he goes, every time I run to the ring, you leave like the little bitch you are. So I made it easy.
They said a swear.
They said a swear word they can actually say, because I don't think they could say shit.
Yeah, they're not Adam Cole. They say, go fuck yourself, Pat McAfee.
He says, here, I already signed this contract. He slides the contract over on the ground to Scarlett, who brings it to Cross. He signs. They slide the contract back in the ring. Lee, he opens
keep going.
And a fireball erupts in Keith Lee's face.
Shades of Royal Rumble 93. Hulk Hogan just accepting a photograph from a strange-looking fan, and then wah!
And this segment goes on for like 5 minutes.
Corey, it's serious. They got to what just happened, the events that transpired for Keith Lee. Keith Lee can't see. Oh, my God.
He made it very apparent that he couldn't see. The thing I don't get about this is like,
Keith Lee, I can't see. Keith Lee.
If I got a fireball on my face and I couldn't see, I would want doctors.
You could not see.
I would want doctors to be like, yeah, okay, please guide me to the ambulance, please. That's what I don't get.
What happened, Corey?
Well, eventually he goes to the ambulance, but it doesn't happen until halfway through the first or the second match of the show. So
you can't say ambulance, by the way.
Why?
It's medical facility, Corey.
Well, they were taking an ambulance to the medical facility.
They don't even say ambulance. Really? Well, they do say ambulance because there are ambulance matches. But they never say hospital. It's honestly one of those terms that
medical car to the medical facility.
Like, it's just one of those words that Vince hates, and for some reason kind of just spills over to NXT, even though Vince has nothing to do with it.
Well, the thing that I've heard about this is that with hospitals, especially back in the day, people would legit call the hospitals. Come on.
It's 2020, Corey.
Okay, you're right. But when Takahashi? When Takahashi got hurt in San Francisco, how close were we thinking? Should we check that hospital, see if he's actually General Hospital, see if he's actually in there? Should we check?
They would have to send him to General Hospital, to San Francisco. That's far, dude.
But we thought about it on the freeway. It's like
okay,
it's 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think about the freeway because I don't drive. But yeah, that would be kind of.
So literally,
it'd be so funny if we just went up to his hospital room. Yeah, go ahead.
The match is taking place picture in picture. Killian Dane versus Drake Maverick. Because, this match was planned out for years in the making. This match is happening picture in picture. There's about 30 seconds of the match before it goes to commercial. Lee finally is taken to a medical facility, and that's when you see the Undisputed Era pull up in a car. They're walking into the ring. We actually start to see the match. We get about 30 more seconds of the match. Drake Maverick hits a elbow drop to Killian Dane, and that's when the Undisputed Era hits the ring, and we get a double DQ finish. I give this match the lowest rating I've ever given a match. This is a 1 out of 10 in my book because there was just what the fuck between two different storylines.
This Kenny Omega is just like
this match got a
Corey gives 1 star. To this match.
He only gives out 4 stars because the thumb doesn't count.
Thumb is not a finger.
Adam Cole calls out Pat McAfee. for playing pro wrestler. And Adam Cole is still a complete heel. So does WWE think Pat McAfee is the face, or is this just a heel versus heel match that they don't care? Because I'm just trying to find reasoning in this.
You can definitely say that Adam Cole is just that, like, if he's the face, you can definitely say that he's that pissed off face that will just go Stone Cold. I mean, Stone Cold. I mean, again, I'm comparing Stone Cold to Adam Cole. Adam Cole, Stone Cold.
Yeah, but then like the whole
no. But my point is, he's just angry. He's really angry, and he'll just take his frustrations on anything that anything that fucking moves. And it's Adam Cole trying to get his heat back after getting punted in the face by Pat McAfee.
In the chest, by his shin.
It was the chest. Okay.
Well, they said it was the face, but you can clearly see him hit like right.
You gotta give him. Yeah, I gotta give it a little. Give him.
You're not gonna really kick the dude's face.
No, you gotta give them a little bit of credit. Come on now, or else we'll be here all day.
Anyways, we get a Kushida video package.
Hey, remember Kushida?
Yeah, he's a wrestler. He used to wrestle in a Japanese company. Some of you might know it, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Is
that the company that sells weird fucking paper maches of his face?
Do they?
Remember his last match?
Oh,
Tokyo Dome, that little kid.
Yeah. Kushida says he knows how to beat Cameron Grimes. And he says he doesn't know the mystery partner or the mystery person in this match, but he's sure he could beat him too. And then we get Tyler Breeze versus Santos Escobar. We have Escobar tells Wilde and Mendoza to stay backstage. They go back and forth, Breeze and Escobar, that is. Breeze comes back with a corner forearms, which leads to a couple supermodel kicks. Out comes Wilde and Mendoza. Breeze fights him off. Escobar, though, does hit the Phantom Driver. Pin, win, 4 out of 10. Too much fuckery.
Santos Escobar, in record time, they just kind of just made him into another
guy.
Another fucking dude with long hair and a goatee beard who works a WWE style match. And it's becoming way more apparent in NXT at an alarming rate, where there's just no sense of individuality with certain people. Like, to me, that guy might as well just be their next Adam Cole.
Wow.
He's just going to be granted, like Santos, he's a talented individual. It's just, and then he has a pretty cool stable going on with those guys. It's
Joaquin
just that
Wilde and Raul Mendoza.
Yeah, with Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza, but they're just another WWE heel. And he, again, I will labor this fact till the day I die, a guy with long hair and beard and goatee beard.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
They lost. Why do they just had to insist on removing the mask? He's Almas. He's pretty much just another Andrade Almas.
And I wouldn't. Yeah.
And they're both very talented individuals who are capable of way more in the company, but then they're just forced to work this WWE style because that company just kind of knows what's best.
Oh, quote unquote, they know what's best.
My point. That's exactly my point.
Yeah. Let's see. After the match, Fandango comes down with a mop stick. He helps fight off.
Is it called Moppy?
No, it was not.
Is it implied that he fucks it?
No. It was not implied that he fucks it. It was.
So what you're telling me is the one half of my favorite tag teams ever in the Eliminators from ECW, Perry Saturn, was not involved whatsoever.
No mop fuckers here.
Well, let me tell you, Corey, the only thing that's been eliminated is my interest in this NXT episode.
But Legado del Fantasma beat down on Breezango. Swerve Scott come out, and they are going to have a 6-man tag next week.
I come here for the save. You come here. And then they just stare. And
I'm Swerve Scott.
I record music.
I'm Fantasma. My dad was Fantasma.
I'm El Hijo del Fantasma.
Yeah.
Mi padre. What's was in? Where's Jose? Where's Jose when you need him?
Just speak Spanglish. Why speak Spanish?
Como se dice was.
Well, let Michael know at CWR415. Next up, we have a Dakota Kai video package.
This is pretty good.
She says, "I figured out how to beat Io Shirai, and it's my Australian accent. It's not good."
She's from New Zealand, but go ahead.
Well, it's like the same thing. Come on, it's like the same accent. Oh, don't give me that look. She said she's figured out how to beat Io Shirai, even though she hasn't beaten Io Shirai, and the only thing she did was give her a kick from behind. So I don't understand how she figured out how to beat. I'm not going to get into it, I guess. Dakota Kai, she figured out how to way to beat Io Shirai. So
she's been doing good work, Dakota Kai. I think she's a better Bailey. Her match against Rhea Ripley was okay.
She's a more relatable heel. Like, she seems like a real person than compared to Bailey. But I think Bailey is leaps and bounds ahead of Dakota Kai. Yeah. Next up, Indy Hartwell versus the returning to the arena, Mia Yim. Mia barely got back in time to make her match from the medical facility. She says, Lee's going to be fine. I need to focus on my match. I need to focus on my match.
At least they don't do the whole Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins thing, right? Hey, did you know that they're boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah, I kind of like how they don't tell us. They're just kind of like, I don't know.
He's so concerned because if you know, you know.
They're hanging out.
I mean, they kind of make it like we say this, but then let's not forget that whole fucking Gargano, LeRae, and Mia Yim, Keith Lee rivalry. That
well, they never said they were together. They just kind of were like, "Oh, Yim and Lee, they're tearing it up." Where the Gargano.
Oh, hey now.
Well, they could be. I mean,
have you seen how huge Keith Lee is? You know?
Hey, oh, hey now. Whoa, hey. Hey.
For he is limitless.
Oh, hey. Mia Yim versus Indy Hartwell.
The glory isn't the only thing that she's basked in. Baddest being the head baddie in charge. I gotta say at least one thing from Mia Yim.
Let's see. Indy keeps going for a sleeper hold, like over and over again.
That's just the classic WWE rest hold. You gotta work the crowd. You gotta work the neck.
Eventually, Mia Yim locks in a maneuver called Capital Punishment, which is like a reverse armbar where she's just like pushing it instead of. I don't know. It was weird. It was a 5 out of 10. It was decent, but also was very sloppy. So 5 out of 10 in my book.
What you're telling me is that NXT was kind of just treading water this week.
I said it at the beginning of my review. It sucked. That's not treading water. It sucked.
Treading water is a little bit worse than sucked.
Is it?
Like treading water is it's just completely just unextraordinary.
Would you rather swim, tread water?
Sometimes you kind of have to try to suck.
Would you like to swim? Would you like to tread water, or would you like to drown? You pick one, please.
But you felt like you were drowning in this NXT episode.
Yes.
Okay, well then fair enough. It's terrible.
Finn Balor package. He says, it doesn't matter if you're 25, 45, or living in a retirement home, because everyone comes to see the prince, and I'm Finn Balor. Already heard her. Then we have probably one of my actually better matches of the night, I thought. Damian Priest versus Bronson Reed. It was a pretty good match. I'm not going to hate on it. It is Bronson Reed, though, so he's younger. He's still coming into his own.
He's a bit more limited.
Yeah, exactly. He's not limitless, unlike Keith Lee. He's the limited one. Long wrist locks to begin the match. They're both faces, so they're all just trying to one-up each other, like, hit me. No, you hit me. No, you hit me. In case you don't know what that means. Both men quickly exchanging maneuvers. Broken arrow to Reed, followed by a kick out. Suplex to Priest, followed by another kick out. Priest then dodges a tsunami splash, is what they're calling it, a splash off the top rope by Bronson Reed. Priest though almost didn't move out of the way in time and almost got hit with the splash. Reed though does reverse a roll up into his own roll up for a jackknife pin. Gets the pin and win on Damian Priest. So Damian Priest, I think, is rising in the ranks. I think he's looking. Both these guys every week are looking better and better.
Like I said, he's not as bad as people make him out to be.
Oh, when he came into this, I was like, "Oh, this guy sucks." Punisher Martinez.
I didn't want to again. Hard suck was coming into it. Sucks was kind of a harsh word, but he's not as bad as they made. I think it was mostly because of the gimmick that left a pretty bad first impression. Because like, what is he? Is he a rock star? Is he Aleister Black? Is he a fucking imaginary bow and arrower man?
What's his name?
He's the Archer of Infamy.
The Mind Freak.
Yeah, is he Chris Angel? Like, there was a little bit of a malfunction at the junction in terms of his character coming in. And that,
I was hoping he'd walk on water, but we haven't gotten that scene yet.
we're not there yet, but
Get those plastic containers in the water. Let's go.
The possibility is still out there.
We get an Io Shirai video package, which I actually really liked this video package. Io Shirai talks about Dakota Kai. She says, "Oh, you found a way to beat me. That's why you were the scared one from Shayna Baszler. That's why you were the one that had to turn heel to eventually get one up on somebody." So I thought it was really good. She was pointing out all the flaws in Dakota Kai's bullshit. So it made sense to me.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I have to apologize. I was reading something. And it said, I was reading just internet comments on the Dynamite main event where it said Jericho was legit terrible in that match. And someone replied to that comment saying, in his defense, he does have COVID-19.
Oh,
fuck.
I don't think so.
Oh, man. He's a constant danger to us all. Go on.
Stay away from Jericho, guys. At least for a couple weeks. Then we get a Cameron Grimes video package. And tonight, he's going to win, and he's going to take that North American title, and he's going to the moon.
Honestly, he's the dark horse in this entire thing.
He's looking great.
Cameron, this is a ladder match. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
He's the dark horse. He's the fucking dark horse of this entire. And I want. He's my personal choice.
Yeah.
Grimes is fucking awesome. I like him.
Happens, man. He's taking that title and going to the moon because he's Cameron Grimes.
He's likable.
He's Cameron Grimes. Next up, the tag team match you were waiting for all week: Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez versus Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro.
Yay!
So first off, I'm really proud of Casey Catanzaro for being in this match. Like, oh my God! And
you can't make that joke anymore, Corey.
I can.
They broke up.
Did they?
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh well, that sucks for them. Let's see. Robert Stone tries to recruit Casey. Casey refuses. All the women brawl. It's just a mess with no structure. Air raid crash to Casey. Martinez gets the pin in the win. 4 out of 10. This was another stinker of a match. After the match, so Rhea Ripley's music hits. She comes out, and her and Mercedes Martinez brawl. And
does she do the entrance?
She does, actually.
She does the fucking stomp. To this day, it's like that entrance just. When she did that during the Bianca Belair beatdown, I hate that entrance was just dead to me.
Well, you know what?
And Rhea Ripley was more or less dead. Yeah.
Next up, we have Catching Up with the Garganos.
Ooh.
And these are like kind of funny, but they're not.
They're dorks. They're full-fledged dorks. Have you seen their Christmas photos? They're fucking dorks.
I honestly think this is just like they think it's really funny to themselves, and nobody.
No one's willing to admit that it isn't.
Yeah,
because they're just so nice. Like, what do you think of this? Huh? What do you think of this?
So Candice LeRae is reading a fairy tale to her dog, and it's just like a normal fairy tale, but then it turns into the evil fairy tale, and how the pixie or the fairy was betrayed in the end, and don't turn your back on a fairy. And
now I didn't watch this. Just behind the curtain a little bit. Did she do the whole thing where they just stare into the camera and it's all of a sudden black and white?
Yeah.
That they're still doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God! It didn't work the first time, dude.
Because next week apparently Gargano has a match with Rich Holland. Apparently it was taped ahead of time. We will talk about it next week.
He almost died.
But the thing I will say is that I thought Balor was going to face Gargano, and then Ridge Holland was going to. I guess it makes more sense this way. So, he's going to face Ridge Holland.
Mystery opponent. Oh yeah, no.
We have
Balor is facing who. We'll get there, but yeah.
Then we have Thatcher's Thatch Can Thatchy Thatch. Thatcher is demoing the knee bar because he goes, "This is how I would have won."
That's a pretty good Timothy Thatcher. This is my arm bar right here. So what we're gonna do is, I am Timothy Thatcher, and this is my. I'm still
lock it in.
I'm still fizzling my fizzles.
Next week on NXT, they get all the B show ratings next week. Well, at least for Wednesday. Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. They're going to have a face-off.
What if they do the same numbers? What if they do worse? That would be quite the end. They can't. They possibly can't.
I don't know, man.
What if AEW? What if All Out Part 1 gets more viewers than NXT. I'm not wishing that, or like I'm looking at this strictly. I try to put this in an objective point of view, but my opinions are my opinions. But what if, dude?
Well, there's no way to determine the actual YouTube numbers, though.
Like it's peak.
Yeah.
No, when they do live streams, like I'm assuming this one is just going to be like a premiere live stream, like they do on what they do for most of their shows, like Dark or the Tag Tournament. They're just going to show part 1 of All Out, like.
Yeah.
Hey, no, NXT has no reason to perform as bad, like to perform bad next week.
I don't think they're
going to say that.
Bad. I don't think they're going. I don't think
so either. But nothing is impossible.
Yeah.
You know?
Adam Cole, Pat McAfee, face off El Legado, Del Fantasma versus Swerve Scott and Breezango. Breezango, I feel like they're the teams that just like they tag with everyone. Like all the newcomers.
And then those ladder match qualifiers next week.
Yeah, Gargano versus Ridge Holland.
They got themselves a card. And think about that. They're announcing an entire card for next week.
Thanks to Brian Alvarez, by the way.
They listen. I mean, are they can outright say, "Oh, we don't listen to Brian Alvarez. We thought up of this. It had no bearing to whatsoever."
Yeah.
But an entire card, NXT. So, and then they're running unopposed, so they have no reason.
Next up, the main event time for NXT. Wouldn't it be great if they just brought back the main event? It'd be like NXT TakeOver, the main event. Kushida versus Cameron Grimes versus the Velveteen Dream.
Ow.
Yep. Velveteen Dream is back. I can't bring myself to do it anymore. I'm not going to sit here and talk all day.
It's extremely problematic. I think it's too early. I think it's
rumors. I mean, at this point, it's still rumors. I mean, people.
You would think that WWE did their due diligence. Like this, you would think that they've investigated their side of this whole entire thing. Not to downplay it. Potential pedophilia. That's just you can't sugarcoat that any way worse than it possibly can. You know, Patrick Clark being having allegations saying that he solicited underage, fans for the most part, and grooming them and all. You've heard the stories before, and for him to return on NXT. I didn't watch the segment, but do you seem to recall the reaction that he had on his return?
The reaction by
the
paid fans? By the paid fans? Yeah, everyone.
They said, ah!
Everyone's like, oh my God, it's Velveteen Dream, he's back! Ah, yeah, Velveteen, we love you! Yeah, Dream.
So is Dexter Lumis like shoot injured?
I think he's kayfabe injured.
Well, better fucking bring him back. This is the one way for me to ask for Can I have Dexter Lumis back? Okay.
The one thing I will say about this though, and I'm fully confident about this. Dream touched the title when he came down to the ring.
Yeah, great.
He's not.
Don't let him touch anything.
No, what I'm saying is like, well, first off, you don't just touching stuff with COVID. Yeah, I don't know if he has it, but I'm saying you can spread it.
Dude, they're fucking wrestlers. They're touching each other no matter what.
Secondly, when you touch a title pre-winning a tournament, it's bad
a curse.
Luck.
It's bad luck. It's like the one wedding day. Never see the bride.
Yeah. And it's like the birthday of your child. Never see the bride, right?
Yeah. Anyway, you would hope that they did their due diligence in regards to this, and he's back. And they're just gonna
with a really creepy blonde goatee.
Yeah, that's just it's one of those things where it's just like you think like he got that when this shit was hitting the fan, and now it was just like him just being weird. I mean, he's already weird, but then not even weird. It's fucking
all three men
allegedly.
Let's talk about the match. All three men.
This is a shadow in this match, honestly.
Oh, no, I know.
We gotta move forward.
I'm just time's sake. Kushida though, this guy's carrying this match. Well, not really carrying, but Kushida does hit a beautiful tornado DDT to Dream. Back from break, Kushida is cleaning house, strikes all around from all men, taking out both Grimes and Velveteen Dream. At a certain point, I realize this is a very strike-heavy match, though. It's just like Dream throwing strikes, Kushida, Grimes, all throwing strikes back and forth. Eventually, we have a Dream Valley driver to Kushida. Grimes throws Dream out of the ring, but Dream, though, is smart, though, and pulls him out of the ring with him, preventing him from getting the pin. And let me remind you, everything I say about this match is completely based on the match and nothing else. I just feel weird about saying he was smart. Atomic leg drop or atomic armbar to Grimes. When Kushida does that armbar off the top rope, it's fucking great.
What can I say? Kushida's great.
Kushida locks in the hoverboard lock to Dream, and then Cameron Grimes out of nowhere hits the cave into Grimes, and Grimes throws Dream out of the ring.
Wait, Grimes out of nowhere delivers a cave into who?
To Grimes. That's what I just said.
No, Grimes delivered a cave in right into Grimes.
I know. I messed up, and then I was joking afterwards. To Kushida.
Okay.
Kushida
takes the pin.
And Grimes wins. And I was really surprised because earlier in the night you said, "Oh, great, Dream's back." I was like, "Oh, fucking great! That means he's going to win the match." But he didn't.
But he's gonna get a second chance.
Well, yeah. But that does finish up the storyline they had with him and Balor.
There was a storyline between him and Balor.
Yeah, I remember they were doing something a while ago. It was like,
okay. You don't have to elaborate further. They did a thing.
He's the Prince, and then he's a character of Prince.
Yeah. NXT.
I give this match 6 out of 10. I pray that they don't push Dream over Balor next week. Ladder match, though, involving Grimes. But think about this. Grimes, Balor, Priest, Reed, and Gargano would be absolutely wonderful. Although,
we'll see, man.
Ridge Holland, I mean, we can't have Ridge Holland. If you want to push Ridge Holland to the fucking, I hate to say it, to the moon. If you want to push him to the moon, he would be a good fit. You could take Gargano out of that match somehow and have him lose next week.
I mean, Gargano doesn't necessarily need the North American title.
No, and Ridge Holland, I kind of want to see more of him, man. He looked really good.
Yeah, that brick of a man, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we were talking about Fabian Aichner years ago. Oh, your computer just made a...
It's fine.
Okay. Hopefully your computer doesn't go all porno style.
It's on sleep mode.
Okay.
It's a completely different thing.
No porno style. After the match, though, Dream beat down Kushida. The refs are yelling at him to stop, but then Dream goes like crazy and then chases one of the refs off.
Oh, God.
And then he gets back in the ring, and Balor gets to the ring, and Balor points his handguns, and then Dream is just like, I'm Dream. I don't know.
Okay. Let's remove the whole terribleness, from Dream as we say it. He has been fucking god awful regardless.
Oh,
when you think about it, when you really think about it, he was maybe it's because that he got injured, he lost a bit of his confidence, and that
Dream lost a smile.
The whole fucking feud with Roderick Strong, that weirded everybody out. The whole lifeless Adam Cole title match with the really bad parking lot brawl.
The last time I thought of Dream an actual position of
prominence.
Was it Takeover War Games 2? The one I was at with him and Ciampa for the title? That was a great match. That was a great fucking match.
He had a great match with Aleister Black, and it really, I think it's just more on, and it's more based on A, the environment, and B, his opponents. Yeah. It's more of a statement on Ciampa and Aleister Black, because those are the two feuds that I distinctly remember Dream being elevated by.
Yeah, Dream is he's had good character work in the past. Lately, it's been very.
It was because it was different. It was really unique.
Now it's
something you can't. Now it's just kind of long in the tooth. Yeah. Remember when he was singing the national anthem?
Oh yeah, in Dreams. Yeah,
and I read that out loud in an episode of
the B show.
Previous B show.
Go back and look for it. Listen to all the B shows until you guys find it.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine B show without Dynamite? What did we do? 205 Live, right?
One time we did 205 Live. We did Impact at one time.
Oh yeah, that one time. That's what
it was a few weeks. I gave up on it quickly. Yeah. That was AEW Dynamite. That was NXT. That was the B show.
Yeah, we gotta upload this thing. We gotta let the people know.
We do. Guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at CWR415, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I will see you this Sunday or Monday, whatever, with Jose for the retro Sunday Night Heat review show. Episode
What's going on? What's going on there? What's do you know the matches going into Sunday Night Heat? How's last week's Heat?
I didn't look into the next episode, but last week's episode sucked.
I mean, what happened? Like, just give us like a 2-sentence.
I honestly, off the top of my head, I can't remember.
That's a really great promotion for this week's episode.
Well, this week's episode,
but you hated it, so
we're sneaking up on SummerSlam 98, though. We're
98. That's the one with
Taker and Austin. And we on, like I said, we do these shows pretty much to the date, 22 years later. But
SummerSlam 98 is a.
We'll have that review up. Retro.
You're doing SummerSlam 98?
Yeah, we decided.
That is a hell of a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
it's a chat. Like I saw that again. One of my earliest memories is watching that. It's man, Raw Underground. They have themselves quite an MMA match there too.
All right,
heart.
Let's get out of here.
God bless his soul.
All right, at CWR415 Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you guys later. Bye.